Near the village of Milton in Scotland, there stands a 19th century stone bridge that has earned a reputation as one of the strangest places in Britain. Dog owners avoid it. Warning signs have been posted. And for over 70 years, witnesses have reported the same disturbing phenomenon. Dogs, seemingly happy, healthy, normal dogs, suddenly bolt toward the edge of the bridge and leap over the side. Some survive the 50-foot fall. Many don't. A few that survive climb back up and immediately jump again. Tabloid headlines claim 600 dogs have jumped. Local records suggest the real number is closer to 300, with at least 50 confirmed deaths. But whatever the true count, one thing is certain. Something about Overtoun Bridge compels dogs to jump. Is it the scent of wild animals below? A frequency only dogs can hear? Or something darker? A supernatural presence that has haunted these grounds for over a century? Overtoun Bridge sits within the Overtoun estate in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland, about 30 minutes north of Glasgow. The estate includes Overtoun House, a stunning Victorian mansion built in 1862, surrounded by forests, gardens, and a deep ravine carved by the Overtoun burn. The bridge itself was commissioned by Lord Overtoun John Campbell White and designed by the acclaimed landscape architect H.E. Milner. Completed in June 1895, it's built in the Scottish baronial style. Rough-faced ashlar stone, ornate parapets 18 inches thick, and 3 graceful arches spanning the ravine. It's beautiful, picturesque, the kind of bridge you'd want to photograph on a sunny afternoon. And for the first 55 years of its existence, nothing unusual happened there. Then, sometime in the 1950s, the reports began. Dog owners walking across the bridge would describe the same experience. Their dog, off-leash, calm, perfectly behaved, would suddenly become fixated on something. The dog's body would tense. Its ears would prick up. It would stare at a specific spot. And then, without warning, it would bolt toward the right-hand side of the bridge and leap over the parapet. The fall is 50 feet. Below are rocks, water, and dense vegetation. Some dogs die on impact. Others break bones and survive traumatized. A few escape with only minor injuries, climb back up to the bridge, and immediately jump again, as if compelled by something they cannot resist. Over the decades, investigators noticed something disturbing. The jumps weren't random. They followed a pattern. Pattern 1. Location: the dogs always jump from the same spot, the right-hand side of the bridge between the final 2 parapets. Never the left, never the middle, always the right at the very end. Pattern 2. Whether the jumps almost always happen on clear, sunny days, rarely on overcast or rainy days. The phenomenon seems tied to weather conditions. Pattern 3. Breed: the jumpers are almost exclusively long-nosed breeds. Collies, Labradors, Retrievers, German Shepherds. Dogs with highly developed senses of smell. Short-nosed breeds like pugs or bulldogs don't jump. In 2004, a man named Kenneth Meikle was walking with his family and their golden retriever. The dog suddenly bolted and leaped off the bridge. It survived, but was badly injured and traumatized. In 2005, 5 dogs jumped within 6 months. In 2014, a woman named Alice Trevorrow was walking her Springer Spaniel, Cassie. She described the experience to reporters. Cassie was staring at something above the bridge. She definitely saw something that made her jump. There is something sinister going on. Debbie McDonald, a veterinarian who has worked at the closest clinic to Overtoun Bridge for over 2 decades, told skeptical investigators that in all that time, she's only treated 2 cases involving the bridge. 1 dog survived, 1 died. This suggests the phenomenon may be exaggerated by media, but it doesn't explain why dogs jump at all. The bridge's dark reputation isn't limited to dogs. In October 1994, a man suffering from paranoid schizophrenia threw his 2-week-old son off the bridge, killing the infant. He attempted suicide but was stopped. He told police he chose the location because of its association with dark spirits and ancient druids. He believed his son was the devil incarnate and needed to die on cursed ground. The bridge has a reputation, and that reputation affects how people, and perhaps animals, experience it. For locals who grew up near Overtoun Bridge, the explanation is simple. The place is haunted. The White Lady of Overtoun. The most popular ghost story centers on Lady Overtoun, the widow of John White's son. After her husband died in 1908, she fell into deep depression. She would walk the bridge daily, staring down into the ravine, mourning her lost love. She died in 1931, but locals claim her spirit remains. Some believe she calls to the dogs, luring them to their deaths, either out of malice or because she's so lonely she wants company in the afterlife. Dog owners walking the bridge report feeling an oppressive atmosphere, a heaviness in the air, a sense of being watched. Others point to Celtic spirituality. In Scottish and Irish folklore, certain locations are called thin places, spots where the barrier between the physical world and the spiritual realm is weak. These places allow spirits, energies, or otherworldly forces to cross over more easily. Some believe Overtoun Bridge was built on a thin place. Dogs, with their heightened senses, can perceive the other side more clearly than humans. They jump because they see something we cannot, a doorway, a presence, or a force pulling them toward it. There's also the troubling history of John Campbell White, the first Baron Overtoun who commissioned the bridge. White was a Victorian-era chemical manufacturer and philanthropist. He publicly donated to charities and churches, but his factories were notorious for dangerous working conditions. Workers were exploited. Safety regulations were non-existent. Deaths occurred regularly. Some locals believe the estate is cursed because of White's hypocrisy, his public charity masking private cruelty. The bridge, they say, absorbed that darkness. Paranormal investigators have visited Overtoun Bridge multiple times. Some claim to have recorded electronic voice phenomena, EVP, unexplained sounds and voices. Others report equipment malfunctions, sudden drops in temperature, and feelings of dread. One investigator from the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals was sent to examine the bridge in the early 2000s. When he reached the jump spot, he reportedly felt an overwhelming urge to leap off the bridge himself. The investigation was immediately closed. But these are anecdotes, stories, not evidence. Science demanded a different explanation. In 2005, canine psychologist Dr. David Sands was brought in to investigate the bridge. He approached it as a scientist, not a paranormal enthusiast. He examined 3 factors: sight, sound, and smell. Sight. From a dog's perspective, about 2 feet off the ground. The bridge parapet blocks their view of the ravine below. They see only the granite wall covered in ivy. They have no visual cue that there's a 50-foot drop ahead. If something attracts them forward, they may leap without realizing they're jumping into open air. Sound. One theory suggested that the nearby Foslane Naval Base, home to the UK's Trident nuclear submarines, was emitting low-frequency sounds that only dogs could hear, driving them into a frenzy. Dr. Sands brought in acoustic experts to test sound levels on the bridge. They found nothing unusual. No ultrasonic frequencies. No smell. This is where Dr. Sands found his answer. Beneath Overtoun Bridge, in the ravine and surrounding forest, live populations of wild animals, squirrels, mice, and, most importantly, mink. Mink are small, semi-aquatic mammals with an extremely pungent scent. Their urine and musk are overpowering to animals with a strong sense of smell. Dr. Sands conducted an experiment. He placed canisters containing the scents of squirrels, mice, and mink along the bridge. Then he brought in 10 long-nosed dogs and observed their reactions. 70% of the dogs went straight for the mink scent, some of them quite dramatically, lunging toward it with intense focus. Here's the critical detail. Mink were introduced to Scotland in the 1950s, the exact decade when the dog jumps began. Before the 1950s, there were no reports of dogs jumping from Overtoun Bridge. After mink populations established themselves in the area, the phenomenon started. Dr. Sands theorized that dogs, especially hunting breeds with heightened senses of smell, catch the scent of mink wafting up from the ravine. The smell is strongest on clear, sunny days when the air is dry and still. The dogs become fixated. They follow the scent. They leap onto the parapet to get closer. And because the wall is tapered, they topple over the edge and fall. This also explains why some dogs that survive the fall climb back up and jump again. They're not trying to die. They're trying to reach the source of the scent. They don't understand that the drop is dangerous. To the dog, they're just following an irresistible smell. Dr. Sands' theory is the most scientifically sound explanation, but it doesn't answer every question. If mink scent is the cause, why does this phenomenon only happen at Overtoun Bridge? There are dozens of other bridges in Scotland where mink live below. Many have similar architecture. Many are frequented by long-nosed dogs. But the jumps don't happen there, at least not at the same rate. Why is Overtoun unique? And why do the dogs always jump from the exact same spot, the right-hand side between the final 2 parapets? If it were just about scent, wouldn't dogs jump from multiple points along the bridge where the smell is strongest? Why only that one location? Dog owners describe their pets behaving oddly before they jump, staring at something above the bridge, becoming fixated on a specific point in the air, acting as if they see or sense something invisible. Scent doesn't explain this. Mink live below the bridge, not above it. And then there's the atmosphere. Even Dr. Sands, the scientist who debunked the paranormal theories, admitted that standing at the jump spot gave him a strange feeling. He described all his senses being on fire. A 2021 investigation by The Skeptic magazine found that the phenomenon has been dramatically exaggerated by tabloid media. The 600 dogs figure appears to have originated from a 2009 article on crack.com, which cited no sources. Local veterinarian Debbie McDonald, who works closest to the bridge, has only treated 2 cases in over 20 years. If 600 dogs had jumped, she would have seen far more. The real number is likely between 50 and 300 incidents over 70 years. Still significant, still disturbing, but not the epidemic tabloids claim. So what's the truth? Today, Overtoun Bridge remains a popular walking spot. Despite its reputation, dog owners still bring their pets there, though most keep them on leashes now. Warning signs have been posted. The estate owners, who have lived at Overtoun House for nearly 2 decades, believe the mink scent theory is correct. They've witnessed agitated dogs jumping and believe it's purely sensory overload. The scientific explanation, mink scent driving long-nosed dogs to leap, accounts for most of the evidence. The timeline matches. The breed specificity matches. The weather conditions match, but doesn't explain everything. Not the specific location, not the strange feelings people report, not why it happens here and nowhere else. For locals, Overtoun Bridge remains a place of mystery. Some believe in the White Lady, others believe in thin places. Many simply accept that there's something about this bridge, something in the stone, the air, the history, that affects both animals and humans in ways we don't fully understand.